For those of you who are new to the show, didn't hear how we did this last year, we take recent crime stories, identify where the Ten Commandments apply, then the pastor offers some the victims and the perps some counsel and a healthy dose of law and gospel, and maybe a bit of ridicule as well. We'll see.
In this case, probably a fair amount of that.
A heaping helping. Yep.
All right, next article.
Another one from my wife, who laughed out loud at this one and shared it with me immediately. You have not seen this.
No,
So,
this is one I've not seen yet. No.
This is out of the blue. This is from texomashomepage.com out of Wichita Falls, Texas, which is just about 2 hours northwest of here. I am not going to read the headline. I'm going to start simply by reading the probable cause affidavit, which was posted with the story. This is just too good. On January 5th, 2020, at approximately 12:33 hours, I, Officer Skates of the WFPD, was dispatched to somewhere on Cranbrook Drive in reference to a disturbance. Upon arrival, I made contact with the victim. The victim stated that she and her boyfriend, Christopher Ragsdale, were sitting in the living room of their friend's house, and Christopher farted. She told Christopher that his fart smelled horrible, and he got mad and grabbed her by the hair, pulled her to the ground. She stated that she landed on her stomach, and he sat on her back and wrapped one of his arms around her neck and started choking her.
Oh, gosh.
She stated that she could barely breathe. She was able to call for her friend, who was in the back bedroom. Christopher then got off of the victim as her friend walked into the room. Her friend stated that he was going to her room to get her keys so they could leave. When her friend left, Christopher got in the victim's face and started yelling at her. He then headbutted her, causing his forehead to strike the victim's forehead. That's what a headbutt is. The victim's friend advised me that she saw Christopher headbutt the victim as she was walking back down the hall. The friend then separated Christopher and the victim and called police. The victim stated that she felt pain from the assault. I observed a red mark wrapped around her neck and a red mark on her forehead, and I arrested Christopher for assault, family violence, choking, F3. I think that's felony 3. Christopher had no previous conviction for AFV. I transported him to the Wichita County Sheriff's Office without incident. So, we've got a...
That must have been one heck of a fart, because it said she couldn't breathe.
Well...
Sorry, couldn't resist that one.
Where do we begin? And so the affidavit also says $10,000 bail. $10,000 bail. Now, he has no prior record. Contrast that with the bail reform stuff that's going on in New York with people with prior violent offenses like shooting cops or being released without bail for additional when they commit more crimes.
Right.
And we all know there's this argument where the anti-gun left likes to make that a woman with a gun is more likely to have it used against her in a domestic violence incident. I'm not sure that having a gun here would have been a good idea or have made any kind of a difference, so we won't even get into that. But this guy's going to lose his gun rights because of his farts and his temper.
The moral of the story, you don't eat Taco Bell.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
I'm guessing this wasn't the first time he assaulted her.
That's probably a safe bet. If something this simple set him off, probably a safe bet.
Right. I mean, it's, to rip a fart and then she complains and then you choke her out. You know what? I don't think you have the proper temperament to be a responsible gun owner, so I would be okay with that, to be honest.
Yes, I agree. If you've got temper issues and smelly toots, you probably don't need a gun. And the thing is, stinky farts could be a sign of something wrong, an infection or cancer or food intolerance. He needs to get a checkup.
Yeah.
So how you want to apply the commandments here? I don't know where we go commandments-wise. I don't know that there's...
Well, if the fart didn't really stink and she said it did, I guess you have an 8th commandment violation in there.
If she exaggerated the extent to which it stunk, that could be an 8th commandment issue. That's true.
But, I mean, you have the obvious 5th commandment here of him flat out assaulting her because she complained about the stench that emanated from his body. It's... You could have done the 3rd grade thing and said, whoever smelt it dealt it. But no, you just go straight to choking her. So, I mean, clearly, 5th commandment issue. They're living together, so maybe you can throw in a 6th commandment issue there.
I'm not sure. From the story, I'm not sure if they are.
Oh, okay.
It says
maybe
they're
they're
boyfriend
not.
and girlfriend, and the friend was there in the back bedroom.
Fair enough.
But still, you're talking about violence against a woman. You're talking about, in the 6th commandment, you're talking about honoring your spouse. In this case, it's not a spouse, but still, you should honor your significant other.
True. Well, and I could understand the friend being in the back room because from the sound of it, it was a pretty bad smelling fart.
It drove the friend out of the room. There certainly is no covetousness here. There's no
There's the 4th commandment issue for violating the law. That's
violating the law.
It is illegal to choke out your girlfriend.
Absolutely.
Even if it is that she's committing the terrible crime of complaining about your flatulence. Yes, it all goes back to the 1st commandment issue that if he properly loved God, then he would have properly also loved his girlfriend and not abused her in this fashion.
Right. Both her olfactory senses and her and her face. Do overly stinky farts count as a 5th commandment violation?
No, they don't.
Thank goodness.
I mean, it's, you can almost take it that far, if you do the whole Dutch oven thing in bed.
That's a whole different story. That's borderline 5th commandment right there.
Oh my gosh, we're talking about the meth and goats and farts. This is amazing.
I told you, starting off the year with a bang. So how do you preach to Stinky here if he's a member of your congregation?
First, you could refer him to a good gastroenterologist.
You might want to get that checked out. Or stay away from the gas station burritos, one or the other.
Yes. Well, it could have been gas station sushi. I mean, that stuff's known to go bad pretty quick.
Yeah, that is 5th commandment if you...
First is to call him to repentance for the sin of assaulting his girlfriend. I would hope that he would feel contrition about that. Mm-hmm. If there was no contrition, then I would simply tell him that you have sinned, you are not remorseful, therefore this sin is not forgiven, and you will have to answer for this sin before Christ when you stand before him in judgment. For a Christian to have someone assure you that you have committed a sin for which there is not forgiveness is something that would cause you a great deal of emotional distress. If you are a believer, if you understand that it is through forgiveness that you have the gift of everlasting life. It is plain in the scriptures. If you read Hebrews chapter 10, I believe it's verse 26, it speaks of the one who has committed sin and yet does not care about that sin. I'm grossly paraphrasing. It says that for that person, there is no longer a sacrifice for sins, but an awaiting of judgment. So first, if he's unrepentant, if he's unremorseful, that's as far as that goes. If he is remorseful, then I would preach to him the gospel. I would pronounce absolution upon him. And I would also counsel him, this is indicative of some emotional issues, that you have a temper that is not in check, that, perhaps anger management classes would help you with this, but you want to reach a point where you are in control of your emotions, where you are in control of yourself. How can we help you reach that point?
Yeah. When you
and by God, swear off those burritos.
Absolutely. When you counsel couples who might be interested in getting married, does the question of farts enter into it at all?
I can't recall a time. It would make for some very interesting premarital counseling. But, I would just remind them of that article that was released a number of years back that said that the smell of noxious emissions from a person's posterior actually helps fight cancer. So, and that wasn't from The Onion or the Babylon Bee. That was some legitimate science thing. I don't... what kind of person do you have to be to submit that for a research project to the science department at your local Ivy League college, And
the research...
We're going to study farts and cancer and how they interact with each other.
Well, the research was probably paid for with your tax dollars, so...
It probably was, yeah. It wouldn't surprise me there.
If you enjoyed this clip of Armed Lutheran Radio, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Also, check out our podcast, Armed Lutheran Radio, if you enjoy these kinds of discussions about the moral and ethical issues surrounding gun rights and gun ownership. If you would like to support our mission and hear more, keep us doing what we do, then be sure to check out the Reformation Gun Club. We are listener-supported. And that means that we don't have advertising. We don't have any sponsors. We rely on our listeners to keep us going. So you can check out all of that and get access to lots of exclusive content for as little as $1 a month. Look for a link in the show notes for our website and for the Reformation Gun Club as well, plus any other helpful links related to today's topic. Thank you all for watching. Christ's blessings to you, and I'll talk to you next time.